Hey there folks, it's Glenn with Cactus Atlas, and today I'm going to be driving my truck Slim straight to the bottom of the Grand Canyon. This is the town of Peach Springs, Arizona on the Hualapai Indian Reservation, right off of historic Route 66, which I'm standing right in front of right here. And here's our workhorse for the day, Slim. He is still covered in mud this whole trip just because I can't find a car wash. So there's nothing I can do about it, so he's gonna have to hang tight a little bit longer, but I'm hoping later today when I arrive in Kingman, hopefully we can finally find a place to get this good old boy cleaned up. So what we're gonna do today, I don't know if you saw where that car just turned, that's Diamond Hope Road. I forget the road route number, the Hualapai Nation route number, I think 6 might be it. That road quickly turns into dirt and you can drive all of the way to the Colorado River at the bottom of the Grand Canyon. Yes, you heard right. With permit though, so we do need to go purchase a permit from their wildlife and their wildlife office, their game and fish office, which should be right down over that way somewhere down the road. Next to the Hualapai Market and Post Office, I think down that way. So I'm gonna go take care of that. I'm gonna go to the Hualapai Market, see if I can get a hot coffee as it's kind of chilly this morning. And then we'll mount my cameras up and we'll get started. All right, I am all staged and ready to go down the Diamond Hope Road is what we're doing here. And so I'm right here, I'm parked right off of 66. If you could see that white pickup truck in advance, I think that's one of the Rangers maybe. And you see that stone building next to him? Not that stone building, that's the closest to us, but there's one beyond that. I'll kind of drive down that way and I gotta do a U-turn here to get onto the road. But that's the Hualapai Game and Wildlife and Fish Department. And they're open, I think, right now from like 7 a.m. to either 4 p.m. or 5 p.m., something like that, where you buy this permit, and you need this permit to be able to travel down this Diamond Hope Road and get down to the Grand Canyon. So it's a self-guided thing. You drive yourself, and it was really super easy. They're really nice. You just walk in. There were several people working in there. And yeah, I just paid $16.20 something so for the 1-day permit, which allows me to drive down to the Grand Canyon, basically to the very bottom, to the Colorado River. This might actually be my third time that I've actually gone to the bottom of the Grand Canyon. The first 2 times were on foot via hiking, so long time ago in my youth. But anyway, so I'm gonna pull out here. Oh, I also wanted to make mention, there's this Hualapai Market to the right. We'll actually see it as we drive out. There's a gas station, gas pump there too. I'm gonna start moving because I got a break in traffic actually. Route 66 can be a busy thoroughfare for sure out here. A lot of semis and tourists, but anyway, can you see the other building, that stone building? That's the Wildlife Game and Fish. I'm gonna just probably doing something highly illegal in front of Rangers, but they're probably used to tourists like me. Anyway, you have to display that permit on the dashboard, check, and it should be right here. And there's that Hualapai Lodge right across the street from Hualapai Market. And there's a 76 gas station. Gas today on April the 16th of 2026 is $4.88 per gallon here in Peach Springs, which seems to be about average from what I'm seeing. So, but basically we are on, did I say Diamond Hope Road? I think this is Diamond Creek Road. I don't know why I keep saying Diamond Hope. I'm thinking of the Hope Diamond or something like that. I'll give you some trail stats here though in just a sec. Gonna take a couple sips of my coffee. Oh, I meant to say that Hualapai Market has got Starbucks in it, which was a surprise to me. I wasn't expecting a Starbucks on the reservation, so that's cool. I mean, this whole town, like the people here are super nice. Everybody here has been like really cool, like really cool people, man. Anyway, I didn't even know all this was back here in Peach Springs. I thought it was just kind of the main 66, but there's a good-sized town back here in the old Peach Springs. All right, I'm gonna pull up. Here's the dirt, so I'm gonna get Slim in 4-wheel drive auto. They say in their own information that passenger cars can do this, so I got a pamphlet at the hotel and it says, yeah, you can do it in a passenger car, but this should be it. Let's pull up and look at the sign, see if I can get that in there. It tells you the rules. So permit required, check. Diamond Creek Road and all Hualapai lands require a permit. You can come in here between, I guess they do have hours for the road. I was curious about that, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and you must vacate. So I was wondering if I could start earlier, but I guess that answers the question. And there's a campground we'll look at. No reservations required for the campground, I read. And I'm gonna guess I may not see anybody. It's usually not this isn't as popular of an activity as you might think it is. So I'm trying to help out the Hualapai here and bring awareness to the community to let you know that, yeah, you can actually drive down to the bottom of the Grand Canyon for the cheap price of $16. If you're solo, I should say. I think there's a fee for additional passengers, so I don't want to misspeak. But anyway, let me just get situated and we're going to start this thing. Who's ready to go to the Grand Canyon? I am. All right, the Diamond Creek, I almost said it again, Diamond Hope, but the Diamond Creek Road. What is that space age looking contraption right there? Oops, you know what? I said I was gonna put it in 4-wheel drive and I lied. You know, I know I'm not gonna right now. This road, I think this road's gonna be like as well maintained as they come if my studies are correct. If I feel like I'm slipping and sliding around on this, I might opt to do it, but I think we're gonna be just fine. And we're off on Route 6 on the Hualapai Nation, aka the Diamond Creek Road. What is that? That's like a log flume or something over there, man. That's cool. So you can include me in the First Timers Club. I've never done this thing before. I think my wife Amy had picked this location out at some point for an episode a long time ago. And I just, you know, it's one of those things I've been saying on this episode. I don't really this is kind of an out of the way area, this section of Route 66, so I don't really spend a lot of time, and there's not, usually I'm either passing through these areas or or something else. So it's pretty far from where I live in Arizona too, so it's not like it's technically day trippable, but that'd be pushing it. So the total route is supposed to be about 19 miles one way. So we got to go back out the way we came. I'm only gonna film down to the river, down to the Grand Canyon. So 19 miles on this kind of road. You've got, I think, gosh, I didn't even see if they had a speed limit posted, but I think the brochure said like 25 or something like that, which I'm going to between 20 and 25. So should be like an hour there and then an hour back out. Maybe a little more than an hour if I pull over a few times and get some photos as we descend. I'm gonna guess a lot of this is gonna be downhill. And then down at the river, my expectation is you kind of come out, I think where some river rafting companies might launch from or pick up from. And there's kind of a just section of beach down there. So it's not like, you know, the Grand Canyon National Park or anything like that. I don't want to mislead anybody early on. You know, it is absolutely the Grand Canyon and it's the Colorado River, but it's not going to look like, you know, all the other adventures we take further upstream at the national park, but it still looks beautiful down here though regardless. So That's why I think it's worth doing it. And hey, it's not often you can say you drove right down to the bottom of the Grand Canyon, because if you're at the national park, you ain't driving no vehicle down at the bottom. Your only ways down are going to be on foot via hiking. Brutal hike, and or a mule train basically. So I reckon a lot of this one's going to be right here from the truck. And I thought it would just be helpful, you know, to make I like to make my videos, especially these kinds that are a little bit more tame for me, but it's helpful to show people that A, it exists, but B, what is it like? Can I get down? You know, can we make it? And what else can I tell you? I mean, I think this area is known for bighorn sheep, probably as we get closer to the canyon. So maybe we'll get lucky and see some bighorn today. And outside of that, I'm gonna drink my coffee on a bumpy road, always my favorite. It can be tricky sometimes. This is an easy one, but it's like you're in a rodeo, trying to ride a rodeo bull while you're holding a hot coffee sometimes, but not on this road. It's just a little bumpy. Oh, another thing I should maybe mention too is that I'm pretty sure, I didn't even bother to dig deep. I'm like 95% sure, as is not uncommon on any reservation that I know of, that drone flight is typically not permitted, period. You probably would need to talk to like one of their offices and discuss permits, and I don't know anything about that. So if I'm wrong and anybody wants to correct me, feel free, but I'm not going to be getting airborne on today's episode. It's just going to be on foot and from the cockpit here. So that's about all you need to know, I think. Now all you need to do is just get up here and do it. And then you could tell all your friends, I drove to the bottom of the Grand Canyon in my vehicle, and you didn't. How do you like me now? I might actually pull out here, right off to the side a little bit, and we will admire some of this landscape and discuss, and I'll drink my coffee while we chat. Coffee talk. I could hear the very faint sound of the train whistle, BNSF, runs right behind the hotel, and that thing comes by often. I don't know, probably at least once an hour, if not a couple times an hour, you hear train horns right there in town. Now I like that. That sound is comforting to me. It doesn't bother me at all. I love that. I've been hearing that this whole trip in Williams, where I stayed, and here. It's the land of trains. So, but if you're annoyed by that, I don't know what to tell you. Some of these buttes and scenes I think are really pretty, but we can do a quick road look. I mean, on a little closer. I mean, this is a beautiful road. I mean, this road is flawless as far as dirt roads goes, really. I mean, even though, like I said, the washboards are nothing to worry about. Anyway, so I just wanted to kind of stretch my legs, take a look at our surroundings, kind of typical terrain that I would expect. Looks like a lot of like maybe pinyon pine juniper type scrubland stuff, up on the, shouldn't show my face, I should be showing this, all that up on the hill. So I don't think, I'm looking at that rise off in the background, that ain't no 19 miles away, so I'm guessing we're going beyond that. I was gonna say it looks canyony, but I don't think it is. If anyone's thirsty, I see on the map, we're gonna go around a curb up here a little ways, and then there's a spring. We can get some fresh Hualapai spring water. I don't really know. Like Onyx Off-Roads, they'll mark things like that on there, so I'm assuming it's drinkable if someone took time to put that on the map. Who knows? we'll just kind of start keep an eye out for landscapes of extraordinary beauty, and we'll get on foot. But man, it's just weird. It's like this landscape, I was kind of surmising back there, I was like, how are we going to get up and over these things? But I actually can see breaks in the canyon up there, and you're starting to see a lot more colorful looking geology, like striped layers, kind of Grand Canyon-y already. I've seen several videos of this drive. You know, when I plan, I kind of will watch other YouTubers do stuff. And as I personally know, at least with my equipment, you know, trying to capture the scales of the landscape in front of me can be a challenge, especially with my GoPros. Those lenses they're like wide angle lenses. They don't really make it stand up. But I'm here to tell you, you know, with my own eyes as usual, these are towering cliffs. Like even in other people's videos that I've watched, it's kind of, you know, cameras make it misleading. The landscape doesn't look as grand or grandiose as what I'm seeing now, actually. I'll be honest, I was kind of like, this looks cool, and to say I drove to the bottom of the Grand Canyon is worth it on its own, but I was like kind of thinking meh compared to some of the other things. Like we drove down in a Sedona, and you know, and like I said, this isn't like the kind of scenery you're gonna see at the national park section of the Grand Canyon. So I was a little skeptical, but that's very quickly dissipating. Just want to be honest, you know, now that we're coming down in here. And there is a little bit of a breeze, but other than that, very nice and peaceful and quiet. I do hear a few songbirds and a couple doves or something out here, but this is really cool. The thing that I thought was neat, this is where I really need to have like a rebirth of like my interest in geology and actually get into books and learn the terminology. And I used to know a lot more, but look at how that layer is curved. It's almost like the weight of the mountain that it sits on like bent it or something like that. So I don't know like what that is called in geology, just the way that bends like that. That's really cool though. That's a really neat rock feature that I like, and you can see beyond. Actually, we came down into this area pretty quickly, so we're already losing sense of the scale. Even here in person, these hills in front of me are kind of obscuring it, but I'm guessing we're probably going that way. You know, and strange enough, we didn't drive that much. We did come down. We've been heading down the whole time, but once again, from even the last stop, I detect a few degrees, a couple degrees of more warmth already, just from that short, like little drive coming down here. So that's crazy. I mean, the sun's starting to burn, I think, through the clouds, but I don't think it's enough to put this coffee back in here. I don't think that's enough to warm things up that fast. I'm gonna be losing the hoodie by the time this is over. So anyway, let's get back on the road. So far, I've not seen a single soul on our journey. Should probably zoom out too, and we can kind of keep track of approximately how far we are. I would say we're approaching maybe a quarter of the way already. Almost. Something like that. We'll make pretty quick work of this. I don't mind on this one. I got a long, busy day of things to do. I got another video that I'm making after this. And I'm doing a little meetup with somebody late afternoon in Kingman. So I got a pretty busy schedule today, and I got commitments, so I gotta keep on, and I gotta get this dang truck washed. But anyway, back to the scene. Look at that. That is so neat, the way that bends. That is a very pronounced stripe. Oh yeah, This is getting cool. Oh my gosh. I came around this bend and just getting amazing views out here. And look at that. Wow. So I would say Grand Canyon at the bottom or not. If the road was just this kind of scenery and they're like, yeah, you need to pay 15 bucks for admission and you get to drive through sections like this, I think it would be worth the price of admission just for that, without the Grand Canyon at the bottom. It's amazing that, you know, when you're up on Route 66, the landscape is a little different looking. You can kind of see in the background like hills and mountains, but you'd have almost no idea that tucked away right back here is something like this. Man, it almost kind of gives me the Vermilion Cliffs vibes. You know, I wonder, you know, like, because I'm not referring to any specific video because I've seen several. Usually, like, there's a lot, I watch other, like, off-roading or dirt roading channels sometimes and other various ones. Saw several. And a lot of people have a similar setup to me where they, you know, have a camera either mounted on their roof or oftentimes, you know, suction cup to the window. So the point being is that you're getting that forward view. And I think it's important once in a while to stop in that situation, and so you can get the periphery, so you can get the side views where you don't really get to see all of that in my camera setup. Now, that being said, I probably laziness. I do have the ability to mount cameras facing off to the side, but I typically, for sake of time and editing later, have not been doing that, but have been considering more and more. There have been a couple trips where I missed some really good opportunities to do that, but anyway, Grand Canyon country. But yeah, even watching other people's videos, I 100%, nobody's videos that I saw really gave me that full sense of scale that I'm seeing now, and that it is a Grand Canyon feeling. I mean, it's not like south rim of the Grand Canyon kind of grandiosity, but it does have that Grand Canyon vibe starting to form on these cliffs. So more so than I was expecting. And we'll have my truck Slim maybe here for, that's not really a great example. I was going to say for scale, trying to show the cliffs in the background, but it's probably misleading. It's not going to look as big as it actually does in person here. But anyway, and when I'm kind of critiquing and saying, it wasn't even meant to be a critique, but when I'm saying other people's videos kind of focus forward, just like I do, it's, you know, you don't always get to see the full thing. So that's why I like to stop and stretch the legs, but not by any means saying that, you know, my camera equipment is unlike others and it's making the scene look larger than it is. I think what I'm trying to say in essence is I'm trying to encourage you to actually get out here with your own 2 feet, your own eyes, your own vehicle, and see it for yourself, because nothing's going to replace that. No video can do it justice, I don't think. The only thing I might add to right now, this is for the Hualapai Nation, if you're listening, and I respect anybody's rules and rationale, but I wonder, I didn't even look into it. Can you buy drone permits? I don't know if you can for just a casual, like, hey, here's 10 bucks, go back there and film. I'm gonna guess it's off limits, but I'm just wondering for revenue potential, like some state parks in Utah will do. You could probably, I'm telling you, man, you could probably sell, like, sell the $15, $16 drive fee, and then charge people like another 20 bucks, like for people that want to fly a drone back here. And, it might be a good revenue generating source. I bet you could make more money. I bet you could charge more for the drone permit than the drive permit, but charge people both. I would have paid for it. You know, if you asked me to pay you like 20 bucks for a drone permit and then 15, 16 for the drive down here, mainly because I'm working, right? This is kind of my gig right now. I would totally do it, and I bet you a lot of other people would. So it might be like another good way to make money, but with a trade-off. I guess trade-off being that some people might understandably find drones to be annoying and bothersome. However, that being said, my counter to that would be I'm very familiar with watching other people's videos, my own experience that this is not a heavily traveled thing. In fact, a lot of people that come down here will not see anybody that whole day. So you wouldn't really be bothering people. And I don't know, I think as long as you fly responsibly, you can minimize bothering wildlife too. Usually wildlife, I don't mess with it or do anything. So aside for some people maybe with bad behavior or doing things they shouldn't, I don't know, I would totally, the businessman in me is thinking that would be a good idea. Comment down below, let me know what you guys think. I respect everybody's opinion no matter what, if you like it or dislike it. So I think in this year of the centennial celebration of Route 66, to me, this is a Route 66 activity. Like if you're doing a Route 66 vacation, you're doing, whatever you're doing, if you're passing through Peach Springs and you have, a couple hours to kill, or you want to make Peach Springs or the Hualapai Lodge your overnight stay like I did, to me, this is very much like something that you should add to your itinerary that's unique and different. I mean, you've got the big ones that we know about, like you could walk the streets of Seligman, you can go to the Grand Canyon Caverns, and that's all fantastic stuff. And we did it on last week's episode. You see both of those things. But I wonder how many people even know this is even an option to do. I bet you most do not when they think of Route 66. And yeah, I know I'm stretching it a bit. I mean, we're not on Route 66, and I don't know of any like Route 66 stories or whatever. Okay, fine, but you start on Route 66 in Peach Springs, a classic town. So to me, it's Route 66-ish. But because you're right off of that, it's like, why would you not? Why would you not? Yeah, so what I'm trying to do is, get some of this stuff because it's going to be out my side window a lot. I mean, you probably see some of it. But I'm looking around, I'm scanning, I'm looking for little tiny brown things moving around. Like tannish brown, which would be bighorn sheep. So far I don't see anything, but I do think I see a couple stray ocotillo up there. That's interesting. I haven't seen too many of those around here. But if anybody sees anything, comment down below and put the timestamp and say, oh yeah, there was like a thing right there. Sometimes you can get lucky and see those things looking down at you from things like that. But yeah, I mean, this is absolutely wonderful. This is where I really would love to get the drone up and fly around. I don't know the rules of being able to walk where you want, like if you can go walking off trail and go up there, because I see like little side canyons and all sorts of cool places that you could probably explore, and who knows what one might find if every nook and cranny is explored. All right, I got pulled over. It was no big deal. I'm not gonna dramatize it. That's just your tribal ranger. So they pulled up behind me and put on their lights, and they just want to see the, they were just double checking the permit and just making sure that I'm here for a day. Really super cool, really nice, and a little bit of small talk. They came out of nowhere though, man. They pulled, I like haven't seen anybody, and then all of a sudden I'm talking and I see flashing lights behind me. I'm like, what did I do wrong? Was I speeding or something? But then I thought, you know what, they're probably just checking the, for the permit, and they are. That could be a cool job though, just being a ranger and driving and just patrolling these roads. Maybe after you do it a few times, the novelty wears off. But to me, like jobs like that, to me, seem like a dream job. I'm pretty simple as a person. Wow. Well, there's a lot of ocotillo down here. That just kind of, I guess maybe there's different ocotillo, those like really like octopus looking plants. It's the springtime, so you could see them right here. You could see the orange flowers. I've got a couple of those in our yard. They've lasted like since I've been in the house, well over a decade. They're healthy. They haven't grown their green leaves yet. These things can grow leaves like overnight, like in 24 hours after a heavy rain. It's crazy. But those little orange tops, they look beautiful after a rain if they have the orange flowers and then like the lush greenness to them. But they have really sharp spikes, like all over them. So you don't want to touch them, but one of the cool native plants of our Sonoran Desert region. You know, and just kind of like, you know, the Grand Canyon, the national park, the cool thing about the Grand Canyon and like the kind of how it stair steps down is, you know, you see like different types of rocks the deeper you go, like exposing different layers of geologic time. Like this stuff here is a lot more like chocolate brown, kind of reddish brown compared to like the scene we've seen before. So you get like lots of cool variety. Actually see something really cool coming up here as we turn this like small corner. In fact, kind of thinking maybe this is another good little spot to get out on foot one more time and just enjoy it. Like I'm doing what the ranger told me. He said, take your time and enjoy yourself. He said, like, don't rush it. So, and it wasn't a comment on my speed. I drive slowly. So those guys are probably already at the river, but, you know, he's just encouraging me to chill, enjoy, and I'm doing exactly that. And that's looking back the way we came. We've been following like this really tall cliff's edge for several miles for sure out of our left window. This is that other, you know, kind of darker colored rock on the other side of the road, really craggly looking rock. Anybody see any bighorn sheep out here? They don't move. They can be really tricky to spot, definitely from a distance. But yeah, this is very scenic, like so more scenic than I thought it was gonna be. It's probably like the 50th time I've said that, I know, but it's true. Figured while we're here too, here's a couple good specimens of ocotillo. See how they're, I don't know, to me it's almost like some kind of like octopus-like thing. But this is the time of the year where they get those orange flowers. It's mid-April, April 16th, I think, to be precise. But they're cool plants. You could see this one's got some, you could see the little green leaves on them. It's probably at the season they're all going to start popping and turn green. They're interesting because they can lose their leaves like midsummer. Like if they don't get a lot of rain, like the ones in our yard, it's like they turn green, you see the flowers, then they can lose all their leaves and look more like this. Then you might get like a really heavy rainstorm one day, and then I'm telling you, like the next day or a couple days later, they will be lush and green again. Like and it's a fact, and I forget, but yeah, those leaves can like grow really like crazy fast. Unlike any other plant I can think of. But anyway, look, I love it. All right, I gotta keep the schedule here. I can get carried away, I know. I do have a time budget I gotta adhere to. Stop making me stop. All right, shall we continue? We shall. We shall. I think we're coming up on very soon now. We should be doing a really hard turn to the left. I know there's a small campground at the bottom. Guess we're finally finding all the people, but everybody is going back up. So they either started earlier or they camped down here last night. I think that might be something in my future that I'm gonna definitely try to do, is to camp down here. I think we found Diamond Creek. Slim's it's like a little wet nap for him. He's gonna get his tires nice and clean. If you get the little information packet that they, like at a hotel or whatever about this trail, they mention this crossing specifically. I think there's a spring or something that feeds this creek. So there's probably water running through it almost all the time. But they basically are just saying, chill, don't worry. It's like, it's almost never a problem. It's probably gonna just be a problem after a heavy rain, and you should know the weather before you head out. So, but you can see the water's like kind of spilling out and kind of going downhill here. Over time, that's gonna make a big rut. It's a lot more wet down here than I thought it would be. But it's not like muddy, it's very rocky, like hard surface, so no issues with grip or anything. But I guess it's good to show you guys this. It's like we're almost like driving in the creek. Here's another creek crossing. It's good to show you guys that. Look at that, we're following that little stream flowing downhill. Got a good flow to it. I guess they made like a little ditch right here, and they're feeding the water off to the side. Whoa, hit a little puddle there. The river's gonna be here any second now, so I'm gonna just keep rolling. But yeah, this last couple miles, definitely very bumpy and rocky. but not worrisome. Okay, yeah, so I think we're gonna go around this bend, really sharp turn, then kind of a straightaway. There's a couple little small boulders in the road there embedded, but all right, I think I might see where some awnings, maybe where the campground is, and another little water crossing. A lot more little water crossings than I thought. I thought there would just be one, but it's interesting how the water is just flowing with the road like this. Let's pull in here and I'm gonna just show you. Let's just take a look at the campground. You got public parking here, but my understanding is you do not need a reservation. I think you just need the permit that we got. Double check though before you do this. I see someone down here, but let's take a quick look, scout it out for myself for a future trip. I actually see some porta potties too, so they technically have restrooms down here if you need to use them. So yeah, this is a really nice little campground. I mean, the sites are definitely a little close together for my taste, but I would say, being as though there's probably not a lot of people down here at any given time anyway, it's probably a moot point. So I would say this is a fantastic little spot. Now, a couple critiques though, or things to point out maybe. I don't want to say critique, sound like a jerk, but first of all, to ever have these shade shelters at any place is a huge bonus, and they did a really good job of that. You've got fire rings, picnic tables, you know, pretty much like any national park campground you're gonna stay at, this has got it. The only thing that might be kind of tough is if you're like me and you're a tent camper. This is very rocky ground, and I don't really certainly know like official tent pads, but not really great ground. I mean, it's flat enough. You just are going to be probably picking up some rocks wherever you're going to place your tent. Oh, I hear people like hooting and hollering down there, and it's echoing. I actually hear the Colorado River is very loud. I can actually hear it. I don't know if you guys can. But for me, if I were camping down here in a tent, like this is a good little spot that's very clear of rocks and flat. I'd probably plop the tent right there in front of it, but most are not. But I would say if you're like in a camper van or something like that, this would be primo. But regardless, I mean, the scenery here that you're gonna camp in is like amazing. Like, once again, it's like video never does these things justice no matter what. And it's like you're like right at the base of all of these really tall features. It's just, you truly get the being inside the Grand Canyon vibe in here, 100%. Like when you're deep in the canyon, like you usually can't see, it's like kind of a stair step type thing. And the deeper you go, it's like a canyon within a canyon within a canyon. So when you get deeper into the actual thing, like we are now, like you can't see above the next rise. So you don't see like what people are seeing from above. And this is very much what it's actually like at the bottom, even in the national park, because like when you hike out of it, that's why it's such a crazy hike, is you're gonna, like, imagine having to hike up this thing and then you get to the top of that only to realize there's another thing like this and then another thing like this all day long. So yeah, I would say this gets I thought this would be another thing that I saw that would be, it's all right, it looks kind of quaint and cool, but this exceeds my expectations now that I'm seeing this in person. This whole thing has exceeded my expectations. There you go. That's a good succinct way to put it. I want to get down there and see what all that hooting and hollering was. Someone's having too much fun. In a way, I almost regret now not considering camping on this particular trip, because I did opt to stay in cheap hotels, thinking it'd be kind of chilly. But once again, I don't need the hoodie anymore. I'm ready to take it off for sure. It's even warmer. than it was the last time I talked about it. So it would be very comfortable. It would be a perfect camping weather, I think, down here right now. I'm sure it cools off a little bit more at night, but anyway, here's the road. It's kind of a river. I wonder what's up with that. I don't recall seeing in other people's videos, seeing the water flowing down the road like this. I like it. In fact, I noticed that some of the water's spraying up on the mud on the truck, and the mud's now like it's turning soft again, and some of it might come off finally. So I'm getting a little bit of a car wash, but not enough to do a dent. I might need a power wash to fix that problem, man. Wow, you guys see how, I don't know, I can't wait to see the footage later to see how that GoPro's handling those towering cliffs, if it's all in view or not. It might be. It might be just the sweet spot, and if not, it'll still look cool anyway, I think. All right, we should really be up on this river like any second now. Any time now. Oh yeah, there's the Colorado River's right there. Oh wow. There's definitely a lot of activity. That's where the hooting and hollering came from. You got all these like river runner crews down here, but there it is, everybody. There's your Grand Canyon, man. We are at the bottom of the grandest canyon of all. Now we're gonna check it out. So what I couldn't tell you, I see some of the Hualapai rafts docked there, but I don't really know much about rafting the Grand Canyon. That's cool. I'm gonna kind of step away from the activity and we'll go down here and check out, see if we can get our own little slice of beach down here. Oh yeah, this is gonna be a good little spot, I think. We might have to cross this little creek. River is not very red. Sometimes I've seen this be like a red, muddy color, but today it's very clear water. Ah, this is a perfect little spot. So yeah, I really don't know a lot about rafting the Grand Canyon, as I started to say earlier. To know, I mean, are the primo spots, are we downstream of the primo spots? Are these, my guess, I'm wondering, it might be more likely that they're getting out of the canyon here, and this might be a spot where they're coming from further upstream. Maybe they end their journey here. I know the Cole brothers that I've studied, I think they went all the way to like Needles, California or something like that. So I still think there's a lot of canyon left. But I don't know if the like intense rapids, the most grandiose spots, my guess is that they might be upstream, but this is really neat though. This is, I mean, it feels like other spots I've been to. Now it is very fast moving water. So I imagine, I wouldn't be surprised if there's signs that say no swimming, but I would not advise, especially with kids, going in here. I mean, there are some like slower spots like right on the edge there, but for the most part, this is a fast moving river. Even the parts that don't have like visible rapids, I could see the current is very strong and very fast over here. And then you get over here and you see some tried and true Grand Canyon rapids. Now those rapids don't look that intense to me. I've done a little bit of rafting when I was younger, but what do I really know? It's making me want to go rafting, but I would say not in the SS Ballard, my inflatable craft. So yeah, I mean, unless I'm miscounting or forgetting one of my excursions down in the Grand Canyon, I think this would be my third trip to the bottom of the Grand Canyon in my lifetime. 3 times. And I'm probably going to spend about just as much time down here as I usually do, because on the other excursions, like I said, I hike to the bottom and then back up in the same day. So you only got so much daylight. So it's like you get to the bottom, take a few pictures and be like, cool, and head back up. And it's going to be something similar, unfortunately, today. If I had like an afternoon to kill, could take my time, I would totally like be doing a picnic lunch, something like that at the very least. But for us, we'll spend a little longer here, but all right, I kind of want to find a way over this without getting my feet wet. Yeah, I'm being a wimp, but I got a lot of driving to do, so having wet, soggy feet doesn't sound too fun to me. Could probably, I was gonna say I could jump over there, but I don't think I can. Let's go over, here's a good spot actually. I think I could probably do it like this. All right, I did it. I got over, I got my heel wet. Little wet, not bad. It was worth it. But one thing you can see though, that I was trying to say, is that this road comes out at this outlet, and I'm probably about as far down this way or getting closer that you're going to be able to go. And obviously you can see the beach is right there, so I want to be clear, unless there's something I don't know about. I don't think there's hiking trails or anything like that. I think you just come down and you have this relatively short beach area to explore, and not much beyond it. So I'll probably walk down to these rocks, and that's as far as I think I'm gonna be able to go. And I'm still scanning for bighorn sheep. Haven't seen anything yet. But you know, I keep looking at the water, but you gotta look up too. I mean, try to get all of it in frame here. So yeah, I'm here on this last little sliver of beach. It's getting kind of muddy, but you know, I think we're at the point, this is, you know, for all practical purposes, this is as far as you can go. I mean, if you want to scramble up boulders, I assume you can, but you're not really going too far. But yeah, this is the looking down. If you were to take this ride, I guess eventually you would end up at Hoover Dam, right? And in areas beyond, the same waters we've paddled before. But you wouldn't know though that that area right up there is a really busy spot with all the raft activity going on. I feel like I'm here all by myself. Now, a lot of the times when I've seen other people's videos, there's nobody down here at all. So chances are, if you do this, you may not even see any rafters at all. So I don't know what's going on and why there's so many, but the Colorado River. So overall, now that I am down here and I see it, I've experienced the drive down, what you get at the end of the rainbow here, the story remains. Expectations certainly exceeded. Even down here, I don't know why, I was thinking it was just meh. And I'm guessing when I see my own footage, I'm gonna say that too, and you might say it. But I'm just telling you, if anything, you've gotta see it for yourself in person, to just to know. I don't know much about fishing here, if they have any good fishing. Seems like here the rapids seem too strong, but the water does move more slowly, like especially on the other side of the river. I see some eddies and slower moving water, and up there by the beach you can see there's no rapids, so it's like the rapids and faster moving water starts about here at this point where I'm standing, and then woo, down the stream we go, the stream of life. All right, I'm gonna head back up to the main part again. We'll take a look at the river rafting crew, see what they're up to, and then I think we're close to being done. It's really crowded down there, but I think the best part to see is where we went down there, where the rapids are. See, these guys are getting prepared, I guess, to hit the water. And you got some empty rafts over there. Maybe we can procure one for ourselves. But a lot calmer on this side. I'll do a couple selfies, maybe for the thumbnail. This is the life. The water is much calmer, like right here in this area, so that's definitely a great spot, I guess, to manage disembarking rafts or starting excursions. It's one thing I need to maybe ask someone about. Is this like an end point or a starting point, or just a take a break point and get back and hit the rapids point? I'm sure there's all manner of different types of trips and lengths you could do. Well, my friends, we made it to the bottom of the Grand Canyon. Woohoo! This has been an amazing time. I have had so much fun today. I hope you enjoyed the drive. I hope you enjoyed seeing the bottom of the Grand Canyon. And as always, come back next week, because you know we're gonna have something cool to do every single time. So tell your friends about the Cactus Atlas, and we'll see you next time. Bye.